The Duke of Sussex joined Pope Francis in calling for an international waiver of vaccine patents. Prince Harry has been outspoken about the need to break pharma monopolies that prevent vaccines from getting to communities around the world in need, journalist Andrew Orlowski notes. Harry has joined activists urging for the activation of an emergency compulsory licensing mechanism built into the World Trade Organization. They believe this will assist in allowing copies of vaccine products to be manufactured anywhere in the world. However, investigative journalist Mr. Orlowski said, the Duke of Sussex has joined a pious crusade that would damage vaccine research. Removing patents will do little to help the world's poorest become vaccinated, contrary to Prince Harry's belief. Mr. Orlowski also suggested, the problem with the high-status assault on intellectual property, IP, is that it fails to suggest a convincing alternative system to such rights, which today provide the incentives that deliver billions of investment to researchers. According to the Bureau of Investigative Journalism, here were a number of demands by Big Pharma that led to a 3-month delay in vaccine deals. Mr. Orlowski also suggested that for Argentina and Brazil, no national deals were agreed at all. At the same time, there is currently no alternative to the prevailing intellectual property, IP, laws and monopoly. He also went on to warn, if the IP monopoly disappeared overnight, the poor wouldn't be getting more jabs. Because most countries either don't have the facilities to manufacture them, can't distribute them safely to remote areas, or lack the skills to administer them, or all three. Speaking at a recent UN AIDS event on World AIDS Day, Prince Harry said that vaccinating the world was a test of our moral character. He added, it's time to draw from the lessons we learned throughout the HIV/AIDS pandemic, where millions died unnecessarily due to deep inequities in access to treatment. Are we really comfortable repeating the failures of the past? Everything I've learned from the youth of Santa Bale, his charity in Lesotho and Botswana, tells me not. They see how repeating these mistakes is destructive and self-defeating. It is a betrayal of the next generation. Prince Harry used World AIDS Day earlier this week to call for COVID vaccines to be shared across the world. The outspoken Duke of Sussex compared the COVID pandemic to the HIV/AIDS pandemic that ravaged the world, noting the political failure to tackle both pandemics. However, royal correspondent Rupert Bell suggested that the COVID lecture from Harry was an easy bandwagon to jump on. Earlier this year, at the Global Citizen Live event in New York City, Harry and Meghan urged vaccine manufacturers to share their technology to help get the world vaccinated. He said that, while Diana was at the forefront of AIDS activism, Harry was getting an easy headline. He always jumps on the socially right bandwagon. Mr. Bell explained, Harry is comparing the situation now to what happened with AIDS. He has accused people of not doing enough to help those countries during the AIDS pandemic 40 years ago, and he is comparing like with like. The royal correspondent continued, he has had a pop at the pharmaceutical industry before, claiming they are just interested in sorting out the richer countries because they are the countries who can pay for the vaccines. He has done this before, and yes, it's a very worthy intention, but it's an easy headline for Harry to get. His mother Diana was in the forefront of helping the AIDS situation. But Harry always jumps on the socially right bandwagon. In the letter, addressed to the WHO Director General, Tedros Adhanom Ghebreyesus, Harry wrote, vaccinating the world is a test of our moral character and we are experiencing a spectacular failure when it comes to global vaccine equity.